Bleeding Hearts. Don't ask me the Latin name. Okay, so I've got a Toro Recycler 22 self-propel. This one's front wheel drive, and it's hard to start. They went to use it after the season being stored. Pulled it out of storage, wouldn't start, and then I was able to get it started, but it took about 5-6 pulls, which is tells me there's something going on with this machine, and we need to do a little tune-up. Probably all it needs. So we'll start with just looking it over, making sure all the controls operate properly, the cables go up and down, and then we'll worry about the adjustment of those cables after we get it running properly. First thing I like to do is change out the spark plug, put a new air filter, give it an oil change. If the gas, if there's any amount of bad gas in there, get that out, put some new gas in there for them, and sharpen the blade, clean out underneath the deck. So being that it's not running right now, we're just going to start with cleaning the deck and pulling the blade off. This particular model has the Kohler engine. Let's see if you can read anything about that if you're interested. And it has the gas filler neck on the one side, and the yellow thing, that's the oil filler neck. The gas filler neck obviously is vented, the oil filler neck is not, so I put that on the down side right now. So I got it tipped to the side. I just kind of prop it up on whatever you can find. Gas cans usually around, so we use that. Let's get this blade off, show you how we do that. So the problem with getting the blade off is it's probably been on there a while, and as you go to rotate this counterclockwise, you're going to have that cutting edge coming towards you, coming towards whatever you put there. So, and it can be hard to get off on some machines. Now, there's a couple things to help you with that. The one is a tool called the Blade Buster. It's looks like this, and you put this. Let's see, how does this go? Is it like this, or like that? Let me take a look. As you can tell, I don't use this often. Got it. Goes on like this. Goes around the blade, and then as you tighten this, it's going to hold that blade for you without you having to hold it. Also, I've seen people chalk them with a piece of wood, whatever you want. So when you go to rotate this, it's going to hit that and stop. What I found to be easier on almost all cases is if you've got any kind of impact, or even these mini impacts they got now. I've got a fairly large half-inch drive impact, electric impact. You can use any kind of impact you want. I found this to be a lot easier because it gives it a quick snap and just gets that bolt right out for you. Comes right off. This one was 5/8 inch. So we'll sharpen up the blade, bring you back. Okay, so I've got the blade sharpened up. I like to, you don't want to put a knife edge on there. You want to leave it a little bit blunt. That way if you hit a rock or anything, it's got a little reinforcement there at the tip. It won't just bend over on you. So just do that. I've seen people get really crazy about balancing them and putting them on a, you can put it on a nail on the midpoint there and just see which side's heavier. The truth is, at the speeds these things run, as long as you ground it reasonably the same on both sides, you're going to be fine. It's not that critical. So we'll put this on, and before we do that, let's scrape the deck a little bit, get a little bit of that dried grass off the bottom there. This one wasn't bad at all. So we'll just give it a light cleaning there, and now I'm ready to put the blade back on. On the Toro, it's got this blade reinforcement thing with the bolt. The bolt can come out separately. Again, we could scrape some of that off, I suppose. And it's ready to go back on. So we'll put this on, making sure the bottom flat side is to the grass area. Some of them are marked. This one's called an atomic blade. It's got the little, it's better for mulching. And we'll just zip this right down with the mini impact, and that's just fine. And while I'm down here, I'm going to take a look at the belt. There's a belt that runs from the motor shaft up to the transmission in the front, the propelled drive. We're going to just take a quick look at that. And what I usually like to do is just look for any cracks. This one's a little dry. It's got dried grass on it, but it doesn't have any chunks missing out of it. It doesn't have any big rust areas where the pulleys were sitting over the winter, so we're going to let it go. This one, these aren't under a lot of stress on this type of machine. It's fairly light, so this one's still usable. So for an oil change on these Kohlers, you could just tip it far to the side and let it drain out. I found this a little neater usually to use this thing here called an oil extractor. Basically a vacuum, hand-operated vacuum pump. What I found is over the time the hose gets old and doesn't stay retained in its little holder there. So we're just going to build it up with a little tape here to make it work a couple more times for us here. I don't feel like going and getting hose right now. So we'll build it up, get a good fit there, and we'll change the oil on this machine. Take off the oil dipstick, and of course it's full of oil all the way to the top because we just had it tipped on its side. This hose goes down in, and we'll give it some pumps. See if our pump is still good. And I don't think we're having much luck with this today either. Bring you back. Okay, trial number 2. I found out that this piston, which has a rubber O-ring, not an O-ring, it's like a leather washer, whatever, is dry inside the bore. So I'm going to try to put some fluid film in there and see if we can get this to make a seal, because it's not pumping anything right now. Maybe like that. I think I heard some action. Tighten this up. We got you in the shot here. Well, that didn't work. And once it starts sucking air, you know you've pretty much got it all. This oil was not particularly dirty, so I'm not going to worry about getting every last drop. And we'll just fill it up with some good quality oil. We'll check it on the, we'll let that settle a little bit, check it on the dipstick till we got it full. Alright, back to the Toro recycler. I'm going to change out the air filter. I already took the older one out earlier, just a couple clips there. Put that in there. The bottom has the half round. Put that on the pins and just make sure these line up. Put those both in, make sure they show through the other side there. You're fine there. And then for the spark plug, that was located in that hole there. You just take the plug wire off it, pull the other one out, put the new one in. For anybody interested, the part number on mine was 140 on the air filter, 1408315-S1. That's a genuine Kohler part. Now, as far as the spark plug, I had a hard time finding it, so I'm just going to clean up the one we have. This was a Kohler 1413211. It's not in terrible shape. It's carboned up because the air filter was clogged on the old one pretty bad, so I'm just going to clean up that tip there. Another note, you may not be able to get it out with a standard spark plug socket. I've got a set of 4. Normally you only get 2, 4 different ones that I bought years ago because there are some weird ones out there, and this one is no exception. It is an 18 millimeter, fits in there, and you can't do it with the insulator that's supposed to hold the spark plug. You cannot do it with that on there, or you have to punch out the end of your insulator. So I had to take the insulator out to get the socket to fit this plug. I've never seen that before. It's kind of an odd, thin plug. It's thin and fairly long. Not a standard plug at all. So I'll just clean this one up. Okay, I've got that weird spark plug all cleaned up, and let's see how it runs. Now, a lot of times when you tip them on the side like I did during the blade servicing, you're going to get a little oil into the cylinder in different places that it might not normally be, so you might get a little smoke for the first few minutes, but I'd consider that to be normal. Let's see if it'll start now. Alright, I think we're done here. If you like this video and you'd like to see more like it, or more of other subjects, drop a comment down below. Please subscribe to the channel to get the notifications, and give me a like. Thank you. And how to adjust the cables. This cable here is the engine, stop, and brake. That one there is pretty much, you know, no adjustment needed. It just clips in here. But the other one is the drive cable. That's the one on the bottom here. And what you want to do is adjust this cable so it's pulling tension when it's, you know, maybe halfway. And you just adjust it by pulling the cable tighter or looser. You know, we'll just try it right there. See how that feels, and you can do it while it's running. It's better. But see, that's engaging like right away. That's a little too soon, so we're going to back that off just a hair. Let's try it like maybe there. About halfway, it's getting a good grab. You can feel the belt, feel the tension start coming on the belt. So that's about where we want it. And then just lock the adjuster down here.